Hello, I am Kathleen Oliveri, and welcome to Real People, Real Stories, where we talk to people just like you and me about their experiences with ASEA and the groundbreaking ASEA redox signaling molecules. About 5.5 years ago, I started to take this cell supplement right here, if you can see it. Yep, right there. And this has really been very helpful to my health. And if you don't know what redox cell signaling supplements are, redox cells are molecules that are in our bodies that are produced in our bodies. And as we age, we don't have as many of them anymore. And the cell signaling is really important because it signals and communicates with the different cells in our body. And it just helps to detect, repair, and replace bad cells and keep good cells communicating. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a scientist or a science expert like Dr. Barbie is. So I like to think about them is that if my cells are functioning properly, that means organs are functioning. If organs are functioning, then that means my body's doing a pretty good job of functioning, right? And as we get older, we definitely, maybe if you're not even older, but we want to feel good and we want to be healthy. So when we are talking to you tonight and providing information about the Redox ASEA products, we are not attempting to diagnose, treat, or discuss any type of medical diagnosis. We are simply just sharing our personal stories. I would now like to introduce our co-host for the evening, Dr. Barbie Phillips.
Hello, thank you, Kathleen. So I'm super excited to interview our guest tonight. We will not hesitate, and I'll just go ahead right now and introduce him. His name is Brian Karadimas. And Brian, we are so happy that you're here. We're going to have you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about where you're from, your background, and then we would like to know how you started your redox journey and share that journey with us. So take it away, sir.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, and I'm going to try to put this in a nutshell. All right. So my redox story and my story started, sorry. First of all, I'm like a blue collar guy, just regular jobs such as QA. I was currently a car salesman when all this happened because the 15-year painting career, my shoulders were very achy. So that's what I used to do. And then I got into sales, and then 2 years ago to date, my neck started swelling and swelling and wouldn't stop. So it took about 3 months to figure it out. Turns out I got diagnosed with something in my blood that had also made it into my marrow, a lot of bad cells, and it was at like stage 4. So everything got very intense. I was rushed into treatments. Everything was happening very fast. My coworker had reached out to me and said, "Hey, there's this guy that's always reaching out to me about if anybody has any health issues. I think you should talk to him." And in the middle of all this, I just kept putting it on the side burner. I got about 5 phone calls about it, and okay, maybe, but they knew I had no money because I wasn't working, a lot of problems. Anyway, a case showed up at the house. And as I was going through the severe treatment, this is kind of what they told me. All right, so your neck is basically at the point where it's day by day. You need treatment ASAP. The treatment we're going to give you, we're going to have to give it to you is so severe. You might want to get your paperwork together, things like that. Extremely hard to hear. And when I went through that treatment, the first one, I'll start with that. So during that treatment, it wasn't responding very well, and my neck was growing through it, and it was very scary on round 3. So then I started drinking this redox cell signaling stuff, and I'd never researched and stuff. But let me tell you about just trying something that you don't understand is a month after it, I drank about 4 bottles of it. I had washed the car I think it was the middle of my 3rd treatment. And that was a big deal because I could barely get off the couch to get to the dinner table and use the bathroom. I'd been completely useless around the house. That was depressive. And it is making me very anxious that I couldn't clean my cars because I love a clean car. So my wife noticed that, and that was kind of cool. So I kept drinking it because I noticed it. And then once I got through the second case and my fifth treatment, I actually was able to vacuum. My wife's eyes almost popped out of her head because nobody volunteers for that. And then I was able to go for an hour walk with the dogs and sit at the beach for an hour and walk up and down the beach, which was mind blowing because the treatments were getting progressively stronger because they had to completely sterilize my system. So that was like, okay, maybe it's all in my head, but that's amazing. So then my last round, which was either going to make it or break it. And, that's why they wanted me to do all the paperwork. It's very scary stuff. Uh, I was I was very ill, but I was able to take the dogs for a walk for an hour and sit at the beach for like a half an hour, as opposed to being hospitalized, which everybody else who's been through that treatment was hospitalized. And that's where my doctor gave me some credit and said, oh, well, because I became very competitive with my blood work. Hey, am I below average, average, or a little above average? And ever since I started drinking it, everything was above average. And he said, I'll give you credit on one thing, that anybody that went through what you went through has been hospitalized. And it was pretty amazing that you didn't. So then when I went into my next treatment, it was removing stem cells, a little stimulating them and then removing them into my bloodstream so then they can extract them. And one of the procedures I went through, it takes 1 to 3 days to extract 3 to 5 million cells. And I like to talk and have a lot of fun. And one thing they had mentioned, that when your body's working optimally, when you take medicine, it'll help the medicine do exactly what it's supposed to do. So I said, I'm going to give you 7 million cells the first day because I don't want any more shots to the stomach because I'm a big baby. And actually, it was pretty cool that they stopped it about an hour shorter than the normal run the first day. And she said, wow, you gave a lot of cells. And the doctor, for the first time in her working there, he didn't add an extra 30 minutes because she had collected so many cells. It turned out I gave 7.5 million cells in not even one full day. So that they were like, oh, okay, you came in talking about how your body's working all optimally. So that was pretty cool. And then I was able to get out of the hospital 2 days early from that because I was 3 weeks in the hospital and every minute counts. And then they wanted me to stay in the hotel for 3 weeks to monitor my comeback. And one of the things when I was going through that second treatment is I said, I'm bringing 6 cases of this Redox water. Does anybody have an issue with it? And they read the ingredients and they said, you do whatever you want. We see it's can't hurt you. That's fine. So they were okay with me doing it. And like I said, I was able to get out 2 days early from the hospital because I reacted well enough, my blood counts. And then when I had to stay in the hotel for 3 weeks, after 4 days, I noticed they were just doing the blood work and, oh, we'll see you in 2 days. And I said, is there any medical reason I need to be here? And they said, we just need to check your blood every other day. And that's 4 hours away from my fiance. So I said, and I made arrangements to get home after 5 days in a 3 week hospital stay. So that's like almost 2.5 weeks. I didn't have to stay in a hospital because my body was able to help itself recover quickly, and whatever medication they gave me, it seemed to work very properly. So then I've just been on it now. I try to stay on about 16 ounces a day because my body needs so much help. I got on all the cell signaling packs, such as the Mind, which has certain things in it that help with all the toxins that gave me like memory issues and all this stuff. So, I'm very familiar with all the ingredients in that because I've become a health and wellness fanatic and done a lot of reading. So I went from not understanding science stuff and things like that to getting on these products. And as far as stress and sleep, my mom got diagnosed with something at the same time. She was supposed to get through it okay. She passed away 3 months of this going on. She said, "Hey, I've been a very religious person her whole life." She said, I'm not afraid. I'm going to talk to Jesus. I've been praying to him my whole life. You stay and fight. I'm going to make sure he takes care of you." And then a month and a half later, this stuff came into my life and initially helped my body, start feeling better. And so to me, it's very personal. I feel I'm truly blessed with it because all of my numbers have been, like I said, competitive, have been on point with everything I've asked it to do. And because of what I have is very scary. A year ago to date is when I came out of treatment. I could barely lift a gallon of milk or stand for more than 5 minutes. Within a month, I was like walking a mile or two. And within a year, I bought a motorcycle and I got 3,000 miles on it in 3 months. So that's not riding it every day all the time, but I try. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell, is that the sleep has absolutely improved. The amount of stress I have had to deal with. I also take the mood sometimes. I definitely take the mind, and having have taken the energy drinks and the mind combined, I was able to paint my house probably 8 months out of the stem cell transplant, which everybody was blown away. So my neighbors basically say, "Well, you're proof in the pudding." When I talk about, people see me, and then I show them a picture of where I was a year ago to date, and you wouldn't know at all from looking at me, that what I went through. And not that I'm perfect. There's still a few things, but my energy, my mind, and just my sleep and being able to endure what I went through, is it's just been an incredible journey. So now, I just keep up with it with maintenance, and I'll never stop doing it. And of course, I didn't know it was a business at first, and then I tell as many people as I can, and I haven't quite turned it into the business because I've been focusing on riding my motorcycle and other stuff. But the people that I have got it on, it absolutely had an effect on them in a positive way. So I have full confidence when I tell people, like, listen, I didn't understand it either. At the very least, just give it the 30-day trial, and tell me what you're trying to do. But I also tell people I don't sell it. Like, if I sold it, I would have a box right here. I want you to know what you're looking into. I want you to even talk to somebody else, hear their stories, and then you can make an educated decision on what you want to do with that. And once you realize what cellular level it is, it's a big deal. And then strangely enough, something happened to me. I had tried to have a nice relaxing fire in my campfire, and this is embarrassing, but it's relevant. And it got out of control, and my woods were on fire, and I have some outbuildings near it, and it was very scary, and I panicked. And I called the fire department, and they were at their station, and they were here in 2 minutes. Now, the fact that I had excellent cell phone signal and the fact that the response was very quickly, I had lost all the vinyl siding, but the actual structure didn't burn. There was a black, dark flame. Within minutes, it was going to burn. So the point of cell signal and quick response is kind of similar to what goes on in our body. So I'm just trying to find the silver lining in that. But the other good news is I probably have the energy to replace the vinyl siding because my body's adapting well. And I also eat well and take care of myself and walk and things like that. And it's amazing that when I do 8 hours of painting and my body is like done, I renew 28 my muscles. I drink, 16 ounces of it throughout the day, and I can get up and function the next day with minimal, discomfort after that. That's been a huge blessing. Is the discomfort's gone away. My shoulder discomfort is pretty much gone away. My wife was skeptical at first. She severely burned herself 3 times in 5 minutes with the Renew 28, is if it didn't happen the next day. So that started turning into a believer. So she drinks it every day. Her discomfort in knees and joints are going away. She can jog again. She's being able to jog a little bit more. So it's just all positive stuff that comes out of this. And when they told me, hey, this has a medical disclaimer, it doesn't like treat or diagnose anything, or it's not like there's no medical claims with it, that made me interesting. No false claims, but that, once you try it for the month, there's a reason there's that guarantee. They know. And then why would the fact that I waited as long as I did, whatever, but that's the best decision I ever made. And I'll never stop doing it, because when you look into the science of that's it, when you look into the science. So when it's just an opinion, people try to tell me their opinion, this or that. Nope, sorry. PubMed.gov, real science, real info. And then the care that comes with this team and and going through stuff, and just is just amazing. The people, the team has been a huge part of my recovery. Some people were calling me, coaching me through, checking on me regularly. It's a genuine team of people who care about everybody around us. It's difficult trying to help people, uh, you know? So I guess that's my story, but it's definitely invigorated my life and absolutely given me hope, because when you're told, hey, you're at the highest level, there's no known treatment for what you have, get your paperwork together, there's it's just a good feeling when all of a sudden you do start feeling together and the odds are in your favor all of a sudden because your body's working optimally. So I'm thankful for the new science, this company, the integrity of the company, and really what they do for people is amazing. So hopefully somebody has some questions for me. I think I've kind of got into my story. I don't want to go on a rant. So
Yeah, that was really great, and we really appreciate you sharing your story. It sounds like um, you were a skeptic at first, and then as we were talking earlier, you said it didn't take just one person presenting it to you, and then you jumped on board. But you actually had 5 different people present it to you, and of course, we know that the science is there. The company's been around for 15 years. And the fact that the pharmaceuticals actually tried to buy out the technology, and the company said no, that people deserve to hear about this, says so much about the company that you're talking about and that we're representing. So it's just an amazing, amazing journey that you've shared and story. Thank you so much. I do want to open it up. I'm sure there's someone on our Zoom that would have a question for Brian, and we'd like to invite you to open up your microphone and turn your camera on and join us if you would wish, and we'll let you ask Brian questions.
I have a question. This is Kathleen. How are you doing today?
Today I'm doing well. I have had some issues where I have added products. Like, it's kind of went up and down a few times, because what I have is kind of one of the relentless things that's been known to just not give up relentlessly. But today I'm doing good. Um, I'm I'm building muscle. I have enough stamina. So I'd say overall I'm doing pretty good. I still have some struggles with all the depression I go with, because my dad also was diagnosed with something. So just between everything I went through, and disability is not your friend financially. Just so things mentally have been a challenge. But as far as physically, I feel like my joints actually have less discomfort than from when before I got sick, because I was a painter for 15 years, and holding your arm up for 15 years is just brutal on your shoulders. And I rode dirt bikes for 30 years, and so a lot of crashes, and just I was rough to my body and my knees. So my discomfort is generally gone as far as aches and pains. Not perfectly, like occasionally, if I lifted like 150 bricks yesterday with somebody, so my spine, I need a day of rest. But as far as the muscle discomfort, it's completely different. And if I go for an hour to walk and my muscles are very sore, and I renew 28 them, I don't feel it in the morning, which is a huge deal.
The Renew 28 is the gel form of the Redox molecules. And so it's something, if our viewers are not clear, it is something that you can rub on your skin, different areas, and it helps with so many things, just like the liquid does. We do have a question in the chat. It says, where do you live, and have you shared any with others?
Yes, I live Eastern Shore, Virginia, kind of near the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, in the middle of beautiful American farmland. Um, I have absolutely shared it with others. Some I've shared it with back in Connecticut, where I'm originally from, and Massachusetts area. And some of them have had, you know, they don't know what to do. They're kind of out of options. Some of them were stomach related, and with most of them within a case or two, have absolutely noticed a difference. One person that I shared it with, he wanted to do it for a month to see if it felt better, and he noticed he was, but he wasn't sure, so he did it for another month. He was positive he felt better. Then he stopped doing it for 2 months, and he absolutely felt like he wasn't doing better. So now he's getting ready to step back on it, but he wanted to do the actual test because honestly, that's why it took like all these people to call me. I didn't believe it. I'm like, I had so many other things going on. It once you even if you just try the gel as like a simple way to, I walk into a room and I say, who has discomfort? And that's pretty bold to say. And somebody will say, oh, my shoulder, this and that. I say, okay, 3 times in 5 minutes. And then like I'd say almost every time they notice, they're like, what just happened? Why is there and there's science that shows it reduces inflammation. So, unless it's like bone on bone, that might whatever. And that's no medical claims that it's doing anything other than helping with the discomfort. It's kind of like this magic stuff. So I boldly go in a room and just pronounce who has discomfort and look for people, swollen ankles, shoulders, knees. If they're willing to try it, it's really cool because I know that it is like unbelievable, right? And it sounds like, how does just salt water do that? Um, but from my story, and I believe me, all my doctors, every single nurse in that hospital, everybody knows about it. And I just say, keep an eye on my charts. And then my neighbors are like, you're mowing the lawn, you're painting the house. Like, how are you 8 months out of a transplant and able to paint your house in a 40-hour, work week? Like that was a lot. I mean, that impressed me.
Mhm.
And I took a few days off after, but just the fact that my body is so reactive to helping itself do what it's supposed to. It's yeah. So yeah, the answer is yes. I've gotten multiple people on it, and one person had skin that was so bad for so many years they had completely given up, and this was the first thing that ever had helped them with that. They said all the major things that weren't extremely deeply pitted were actually healed up, and the deeply pitted was getting worked on. So that was amazing. And then some other people, they were at their end, couldn't find anything, and now they don't want to be without this. And some people like me, are like, oh, but it's expensive. It's expensive. Not being able to get off the couch, having pain all day, every day that you don't know what to do about, or just being in discomfort all day, or endless doctor visits, or just all this stuff. So my quality of life is just so much better, even if you just take the energy portion of it and never mind everything else. Just the fact that got me off the couch and moving. Uh, you can't you can't put that in your head and will yourself to get off the couch after all the medicine I was in. And that's kind of what my doctor's point was. How did you not get hospitalized? Like, your body is definitely like optimally going. And when I got the other thing, I just, everything went like clockwork. It happened like the way it was supposed to. So yeah, the science saying it helps your body help itself, I guess, would be the simplest way I would explain it.
That's good, Brian. I do want to remind each person that we are not claiming to treat any medical condition. We're not, we're not claiming to treat pain. It does work on 5 gene pathways, which is the immune system, the inflammatory response, cardiovascular health, helps with healthy digestion and hormone modulation. So I will preface that into our next question. That was, you mentioned a transplant, and in no means are we making any claims that it's treating anything or helping with the transplant, but would you share with our viewers what was transplanted?
So yes, thank you for clarifying that, because that's important as well. And that's actually what made me more intrigued about it, was the disclaimer. So what they had to do was extract stem cells, because they wanted to basically completely sterilize my body. So they needed stem cells, and I mean, they would have been happy with 3 to 5 million, and I certainly did not want more shots in my stomach. So I was hoping it would be one day and done. So they took the cells out of the body and then put them somewhere. And then after I went through more treatment to sterilize my body, they put those cells back into my body. So that's that process.
Thank you for that clarification. Well, we are definitely just intrigued by your story. What a fantastic outcome, and we're so happy for you. And you are newly married within the last little bit, from what I understand. So we're super excited about that. We would like to go ahead and wrap up tonight and thank our guest so much for his time. And we want to let everyone know that this is recorded and it's available at the Creation Chiropractic YouTube channel. And we're so happy that you can share this with other people and remind them that, yes, that 30-day money-back guarantee is so important to share with people, but also just the process of time. You know, working in a chiropractic office, there's times that it may be 3 months, 4 months, 6 months before some people start to notice some changes in some health areas. So it's important to have a coach, someone that's a reputable associate that you purchase your products from, that can guide and direct you so that you can have hopefully the best success possible with the products by them guiding you along the way. And we do want to announce tonight, we are going to have a new day for Real People, Real Stories. Our next time will be Monday, November 11th. So we will be starting the 2nd and 4th Mondays of every month at 6:30 p.m. Central. And so we're super excited to share on a brand new day, same time. And we look forward to interviewing another guest that has had success with these amazing Redox molecules. And again, thank you so much, Brian, for your time. And we appreciate all our guests joining us, and we wish everyone a fabulous night. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.